Yeah, none of it went into the grass at all.
Welcome to Full Speed Impulse, where dreams are made and usually broken. All right, everyone, what's up? We are talking about what is the best setup for the sand for your vehicle. And honestly, it depends on what vehicle you have and what you plan on doing. You need to ask yourself as far as, do you plan on trailering the vehicle to the dunes? Do you plan on wanting to be able to run it on the road? Or, you gotta think about stuff like that. And once you think about that, the other thing you gotta think about as far as, you just don't, it looks cool as far as when you see people out in the dunes and they got the paddles and all that, and you're like, oh yeah, I want to paddle up, but it might not be realistic for your vehicle. So some of the things you want to think about is that your paddle stuff is hands down for your high horsepowered vehicles. So, and high horsepowered means power to weight ratio. So some might say like, oh, I run paddles on my quad. Well, that's 40 to 50 horsepower, machine that weighs 400 pounds. That's a big difference than, as far as running for example, this Jeep here is probably about 320, 350, and we're weighing it at 2,900 pounds. So, and I personally wouldn't even do full scoops on this thing yet. Until we start really pushing into more of the 600 horsepower range, I wouldn't even think about it, to be honest. But I'm going to show you the setup we have today, and then you guys can look at them and see what you think, and I'm going to tell you what we do. So these ones here are called Desert Masters. They're a 32-inch tire, and I think they're like 14 inches wide. I gotta find the, yeah, I think they're like a 14 wide or something like that when they're aired down. They're pretty wide. So right now they're aired up, which is nice. So if you're gonna do some on the road riding and all that, you can air them up and they'll actually run on the center tread here, which is cuttable if you do stuff like that, but obviously we didn't. And then on the side here you have your scoops. So as you can see right now, it's not aired up all the way. It actually can go up way more. I mean, this is less than 20 pounds. But if you air down, these tires will flatten out real nice in the sand, and then you're going to start using these scoops here. And I think I've had these tires for 3 years now, and we've ran them on the road, aired down, aired up, and we beat them up pretty good. So they've held up real nice. So I'm definitely proud of those things. Those are a great all-around tire. You could probably put those on about any of your applications you're shooting for. It's a good, safe, mild paddle. So, and we've had nothing but luck with them. I mean, they hook excellent. So other tires that we ran on this before were some BF Goodrich mud terrains, and you're gonna find that your mud terrains don't do the best out there, mainly because usually the sidewall's a little bit more rigid and stuff like that. And actually, what you want to do is go with more of a lower ply tire when you're out there in the sand, so when you air them down and all that, they lay flat. So these are our front tires, which we just started to run this year, and these were actually designed for a UTV. So I am not recommending you guys to put them on your vehicle, but I am going to say they are fantastic, because once we put that setup on the rear and this setup on the front, I mean, if you watch my last video out in the dunes, I mean, I was just messing around. I wasn't even really getting at it yet, and I was still aired up at 10 pounds all the way around. I could have went down another 5 pounds. But anyways, these tires are awesome. They're a 2-ply, they're 32 by 12 on a 15-inch rim. And actually our buddy just gave these rims and all that. He hooked us up and all that, so we just tossed them on real quick, and we didn't bother painting them. It's all good. But anyways, they are loud. I'll tell you that. But actually, we ran these things so much on the road this last time, I'm actually pretty impressed on how well they held up. And they're not priced bad at all. So my other thing with that too was that these things last me 2 years, but I'm good. So, and 2 years is like 3 holiday runs, 3 like weekend holiday runs, and then maybe like a side trip at tops. You know, I don't run these every time out there. Sometimes I just leave the other tires on, because usually when I put these on, it means that I kind of want to get at it, I want to play. So these ones here were called System Off-Road, or System 3 Off-Road maybe, SS360. Like I said, they are UTV tires, so they probably are not recommended for highway use. But I will say, when I looked up the ratings and all that, we were in the requirement, like we met the requirements for the weight of the vehicle per tire and all that. So bonus of having a light Jeep. But other than that, like, so that would be my recommendations if you're going with a more of a high horsepowered vehicle, you know, or a mid, you know, mild build. This is a great tire setup right here. I mean, these things have done us great. Now, if you're going for a low horsepower like application, and I've seen a lot of guys do it, and one of my buddies does it, and we've seen all the old timers, but you'll see them out there. They'll have these really wide tires with like, it's almost like a highway tread. And what it does is it allows you to float on the sand instead of while a paddle's causing you to dig. And digging in the sand's fine as long as you have the engine, you know, to get at it. But if you don't, that's where you want to try to stay on top of the sand. So going with more of a, it seems silly, but more of a highway tread style tire, and just making sure it's a wide tire, you know, so that when you air them out, they're gonna float real nice on the sand. And you'd be surprised on how well it does. It might look kind of silly, but you'll see other guys out there. You see the old timers, they do that stuff. They used to run tires called 2-tracks and all that. And they're like a tractor tire, but they were 14 inches wide, and they put them on these deep-dish rims. And you wouldn't, you know, they're running them on the stock V8s, on the AMCs and all that. And, you know, those things didn't have a lot of horsepower. They're like 150 horse motors, you know. So it wasn't a, you know, it was great for those machines. But since we are looking to more of a, you know, more of a higher horsepower application here, sorry, that's why we went with more of an aggressive tire. So hopefully down the road maybe get a little bit deeper into it, but our thing is that we always like to run on the road a little bit. So I don't feel like trailering my Jeep there. I don't want to ever really get that serious about it, because then it's just gonna be a pain in the butt. So my thing with this is keeping it streetable. That's what, you know, speaks to me. So that's what you guys see, what speaks to you guys as far as what, you know, what works for you. But as far as that, I'm going to keep this video short. I hope this helps. If I didn't answer your question, hit me up in the comments and I'll answer it. This is all from past experience as far as watching, you know, my buddies, you know, and the old timers, and then, you know, just me experimenting too and all that with stuff. So we always go out to Silver Lake and all that. We're always messing in the sand. So I'm not going to call myself an expert or anything like that, but I don't know, we know a couple things about sand. But it's good times for sure. So if you have any questions, again, hit me on the comments, hit that subscribe. Appreciate it, guys.